Hi there. Thanks to our friend Ty, I'm going to make a deck tech about the Snowgo list that I actually play, that I want to test. I'm not sure if it works, but I'd like to give it a try since it has a okay matchup against Peregrine Drake because we have so many counters, we have Pyroblast and things like that. All these cards are good for beating the Drake. You actually have to play good Magic because Drake is a very good deck, but we are the better control deck because we rely on our card advantage spells and things like that. Let's start by telling you why the deck is called Snow Control or Snow Go. It's called Snow Go because we've got these basics, these snow-covered basics from Ice Age. That those snow-covered lands have a very good interaction with Grid, which is nice to play if you if you're facing a creature like a 5/5 angler, which is easily killed by the Scred. Sometimes you can also kill creatures like an 8/8 Gurmug, 8/8 Ulama Crusher, or things like that, because you have about 12 of these basics. Then we have the core of this deck is actually Mystical Teachings, because Mystical Teachings is like a toolbox for getting all of these cards, or all of the cards you want to have at a certain point of or in time. Um, the flashback ability of the teachings helps you to gain even more card advantage. So this deck is all about card advantage. We have mystical teachings that can just find you every spell you need. You want to have maybe a capsize to deal with the opposing, circle of protection green, or anything like that. Or sometimes they just have these this mill spell, the enchantment for 3 mana, where you are milled each and every turn. Then you don't have an answer main deck, or you couldn't counter it. You can get mystical teachings for capsize and capsize it at the end of your opponent's turn. Sometimes you're facing Bogles and you cannot get rid of one of his creatures. All the other creatures are gone because you have the electricity or you found anything to kill the creatures. Then you can go and get a Diabolic Edict, or if you want to gain some life, you can find the Crypt Incursion that brings you back into the game. Sometimes, via teachings, you can just find counterspell with what is that is good enough on its own, and Mana Leak is nice for the early game to counter opposing creatures. Sometimes you just want to have the exclude for countering a creature and drawing a card. Getting card advantage is very important with the stack. The same counts for accumulated knowledge. We use this one to draw and draw and draw and draw a lot of cards because usually this stack is built to get into the late game. And during the late game, usually our graveyard is full of cards like accumulated knowledge. And then you can, in the long run, draw about 3 to 4 cards with 2 knowledges. If you're lucky, you can draw 3 and find the cards you need at the end of the game. Spark Swarm here is our one and only win condition. If you don't have it anymore, we are in a bad spot. We are in trouble. But I have one Archaeomancer in my deck that can get back Spark Swarm, or spells like Terminate, Exclude, Capsize, Accumulated Knowledge, Crypt Incursion, when you need them, twice. So I just have a spare copy or a lonesome copy of the Archaeomancer in the deck to have a toolbox or kind of toolbox for getting cards that you need twice in the game that you only play once in your main deck. Sounds strange, but I think I like the idea. And sometimes a Q-Mancer can even block another creature and help you to be able to play on for another turn, which might be the decisive turn that you need for getting for saving your life totals. Harvest Pyre was added because sometimes Scred is a bit slow because you have to build or to find so many lands, and sometimes Harvest Pyre is just good, or it's just an additional card that can help you kill a creature. Maybe it's not good to have the Harvest Pyre here, but an additional counter spell, but I'd like to give it a try, especially when I'm playing against so many Drake decks. Pyroblast main deck is very nice, just because people don't expect it main deck, and we've got so many blue decks around in the actual meta that we have. So Pyroblast is very, very good. Another card that we can discuss is Electricary. Maybe there's a need to cut it because there are no Swarm aggro decks really anymore in the current meta. Maybe we just have to cut it and find a 2-off slot in the sideboard. But you can always get it with teachings and shuffle it away with brainstorm. Brainstorm is very nice because you can use teachings to shuffle away cards you do not need with brainstorms, as well as 3, 4, 5, 8 of these fetch lands. What else do I have to tell you? I guess we haven't discussed the mana base yet. We have one single swamp for Terminate, Crypt Incursion, Edict, and Mystical Teachings. Maybe you want to have 2 swamps, but I think mainly this deck is mainly a blue and red deck. We have black to use for teachings and for some good removal spells, and I think in the sideboard we have the second Edict. Green is a single one-off just for the Spread Swarm because we have to win this game at a certain point of time. The main color is blue. We need double blue for this card, this card, this card, and we always want to have blue. The second color is red, and Izzet Boilerworks is very nice because in the long run you have more mana available through the Izzet Boilerworks. I was always thinking, why do you have to play Boilerworks? Why not just the Swiftwater Cliffs? And then it just came into my mind, I have actually 2 lands in my starting hand. Playing 1 island. Okay, good. Next turn I play Izzet Boilerworks. Do not draw any more lands. Then I play Snow-Covered Island. I have 2 lands on the battlefield, 3 mana. Next turn I do not draw a land. The turn after that I draw a land again. I have 3 lands on the battlefield, but I have 4 mana. And this is where Boilerworks shine. They are better in the long run for getting a very high amount of mana compared to Swiftwater Cliffs. But Swiftwater Cliffs are very nice because you gain life, so many life, and you can win against Burn, for example, just via life gaining with the Swiftwater Cliffs. Let's have a look at the sideboard now. Some matchups are really hard to win. Mono red, for example. It doesn't matter if it's goblins, if it's mono red burn. All these matchups are very hard to win. So we have Circle of Protection as a one-off, some Plains, 1 single Plains, and Muddle the Mixture. So we actually have 2 Circle of Protections that we can find transmuting Muddle the Mixture. Interesting is that Muddle the Mixture can also counter a burn spell. We have Hydroblast for countering the burn spells, and Serene Hearts for the burn spell's aura spell. I just forgot the name, which pings us each and every turn. We have cards like Diabolic Edict that can be found by Muddle the Mixture as well. We have Gorilla Shaman, which is very good against Affinity, against all cards or all decks that play artifacts. You could argue if you want to play Pulse, there's a Pulse. Let me see if I can find it. Pulse. Shattering Pulse. This one is good as well, because it just kills any artifact, not just the artifacts that are on creature. This one can kill other artifacts like creature artifacts as well. Maybe it's better, I'm not sure, but you can play it later, and Gorilla Shaman can come into play as soon as turn 1 and can kill a lot of things. Electric is good against Swarm aggro. This one is very good against Boggles, and Pyroblast is just needed because of blue. So this sideboard is pretty decent. It's very good, actually, because you have access to Hydroblast and Pyroblast and things like that. If you enjoy Snowgo, just give the deck a like, and maybe you want to play it yourself because it's very nice to play, and in my opinion it's good against or in the current meta. No. Thank you very much for